I just don't understand. I don't get in trouble at school. I pass all my classes. I do the dishes. I help clean out. My brother, on the other hand, he constantly drooled as a baby. He cried and fussed. And don't even get me started on how he peed everywhere. He was awful. So why am I the one being punished? Why is this happening to me?
The TMI Project Story Hour presents the Period Power Stories podcast, where we tackle taboos about periods one story at a time. All storytellers are members of the Kingston High School Period Power Club, a group dedicated to destigmatizing menstruation, raising awareness of period poverty, and inspiring action to ensure free menstrual products for all students. In 2023, club members took a 10-session TMI Project True Storytelling workshop and wrote about their own experiences with periods. Now, we're sharing these stories to continue the conversation.
The views shared in this podcast are solely those of the subject and don't reflect the beliefs or opinions of TMI Project. This podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Hi, my name is Tina, and I am your host for today's episode. And with me, I have Divine, a current Kingston High School Period Power student, and past Period Power student and VP, Kat, who's now a sophomore at SUNY New Paltz. Welcome to the set.
Hi.
Hi.
I'd like to start off by asking you both, tell us one thing that we don't know about you by looking at you.
Something that you can't tell by looking at me is that I speak Russian and Spanish fluently.
Awesome. And can you tell us your pronouns that you prefer?
Any.
Okay.
Something you don't know about me when you're looking at me, I've been doing bass for basically 8 years now.
Bass.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Divine, what pronouns do you prefer?
She, there.
Okay. I prefer she, her pronouns, and one thing you can't tell by looking at me is that I love houseplants. All right. A lot of these are mine. So maybe you can tell that by looking at me. So our topic for today's episode is all about period shame and stigma. One of the big things that we worked on tackling at Kingston High School over the last few years wasn't just education and advocacy, but it was really to tackle and eradicate period poverty and stigma. So in your own words, can you tell me a little bit about what has maybe been shameful or caused harm about your menstrual cycle and or period issues?
The blood itself is probably the most shameful and stigmatized part of it. A lot of people call it, disgusting or unhygienic. It's completely normal and something that is, completely out of our control. It should not be stigmatized or called disgusting or something that it's not supposed to happen when it is.
Yeah, actually, when you mention like unhygienic, in recent years, and just recently within New York, it was changed from feminine hygiene products to menstrual like wellness or menstrual health products. Is that it doesn't have to do with our hygiene, it has to do with our health. So Divine, give us a story or a situation that you've gone through.
There was this one time in Spanish class back in 7th grade, yeah. And I was on my period then. And it was pretty new for me, like, that was, like, the year I got my period. And one day, I had a few pads in my pockets. They were, like, very crappy, like, school pads that don't even last a period. And then one of them dropped out my pocket, and I felt so horrified because now someone knows that I'm on my period. And now growing up realizing like it's natural, like why would someone think it was gross or anything?
Yeah, Yeah. Do you feel like now that you're in high school and involved more with period power and we've kind of normalized periods in our school, like do you see
Yeah,
your fellow students like walking around with pads or tampons a little bit more openly or
yeah, I definitely see that. When I like when someone's on their period, they'll just pull out their pad and say, "Hey, gotta go to the bathroom," and we just carry around. I don't hide it in my pocket. I don't really there's nothing to be ashamed of
Yeah.
anymore. Like, it's a normal thing that
yeah.
people go through.
Yeah, and I feel like when you're first going through like your period and like getting your period, you don't really know what to expect. And in today's episode, we're gonna actually go back in time and see Xyajah's story. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it here today, but her story really resonates with me. So let's take it away to Xyajah.
I'm 9 years old and I can't understand what's wrong with me. My tummy hurts so bad and there's so much blood everywhere. Now my favorite My Little Pony underwear is ruined. My pants are dirty and bloody and the blood isn't stopping. I've always been a good kid. When you're the firstborn daughter, the princess, the angel, you have to be a good kid. Even as a baby, I didn't cry much. I just fussed until I got a passy or a bottle. I was a good eater. I didn't complain much. I barely even drooled. And now I can't stop asking myself, why is this happening to me? I sit on the toilet freaking out. After a bit, I start to calm down. I remember hearing my mom complain about ruining her pants. I remember hearing my aunt cry every month about pain and randomly get mad at me for everything. Then I remember my mom's mini sticky diapers that me and my sister would play with. I start going through the cabinets looking for them, but all I can find are spray bottles and stinky cleaning supplies. But then I see it, a colorful box all the way in the back of the cabinet under the sink. I grab it and open the seemingly brand new box, and I was right, mini sticky diapers. I take one out. The only problem is, where the heck am I supposed to put it? I look at the instructions on the box. It has pictures that show me what to do. But I don't even have clean underwear to put on. And I'm not touching my bloody My Little Pony underwear with a 6-foot pole. So I do the simplest and quickest thing I can think of. I grab a bunch of toilet paper and wrap it around my hand at least 20 times and position it as a barrier between my pants and my profusely bleeding vagina. Then I grab a handful of those sticky mini diapers and shove them into my pockets. As I start washing my hands, I hear a knock. Panic rushes through me. I hear my father ask, "Are you okay?" I most certainly am not okay, but I say, "I'm almost done." Grab even more toilet paper, my stained underwear, and I wrap it up like it's some sort of Christmas present. Once I'm sure it's completely covered, I put it into the mini trash can by the toilet. Then I throw a single sock on top of it for good measure. I wet my hands and spray some random air freshener. I wait a while before I put the pads into my backpack and change clothes. Somehow, I've successfully avoided any suspicion and I've gotten through the day, but I'm still very confused. I have no idea what is happening to me. And on top of that, I'm nervous that I'm going to bleed through my pants again and my dad will find out. I just don't understand. I don't get in trouble at school. I pass all my classes. I do the dishes. I help clean out. My brother, on the other hand, he constantly drooled as a baby. He cried and fussed. And don't even get me started on how he peed everywhere. He was awful. So why am I the one being punished? Why is this happening to me? I'm 16 years old now. Little did I know I would be hiding my period for months. My mother eventually found out, but it was humiliating. I was caught red-handed, literally and figuratively, and now had to deal with the consequences, getting the talk. It was not a good day. However, I do wish I came forward with the information earlier. I could have avoided months of feeling constantly anxious and scared. But I'm sharing my story now, though. So all the other kids out there who got their period at a young age never have to feel that way again.
So Xyajah got her period when she was going into 4th grade. And she didn't know what was happening to her. She didn't really have a role model or an adult in her life at that time that she could really ask for period products or ask what was kind of going on. So she kept it really hidden for many months. So nobody really knew what was happening. If you could go back and maybe tell Xyajah as a friend in that moment, what would you maybe do in terms of helping her with her period at that young age?
Well, I'd say that it's gonna be okay, it's perfectly normal, it's expected, it's a good sign that you are having it. And, everybody has it at a different time, they're no different if it's a little bit earlier or a little bit later. And, it's not something that you should let people like dictate about you. It's just you. It's a completely normal bodily function.
Yes.
It serves a purpose, and you shouldn't have to hide it or be worried because it's all gonna work out.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'd like to ask you guys a few questions today, if that's all right. Divine, I'd like to know what kind of challenges or obstacles you've overcome since you've been involved with Period Power.
See, ever since I joined Period Power, it made me feel more confident in myself with my menstruation. Freshman and sophomore year, I used to hide my pad and just ask in a very low voice to go to the bathroom. Because I thought of a period to be, it should be hidden. Like, nobody should know that you're on your period. But now that I'm in Period Power, I feel like it gives me this confidence that, oh, I'm on my period. Who cares?
So from feeling ashamed and kind of secretive to feeling a little bit more empowered and boldly speaking out to say, hey, I need some help. Or sometimes students take advantage of the free store at Kingston High School. We have the free clothing, a thrift store, and we have a food pantry, hygiene products from shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toilet paper, and tissues. So we're trying to allow students to have the ability to get whatever they need, but also being able to kind of utilize the culture of reduce, reuse, recycle in our thrift store, which works against the stigma of period issues, because when you have bleed throughs, you can come in, but even when you don't have bleed throughs, students are coming in to thrift and enjoy utilizing our space. So thank you for coming in and utilizing the free store. Yeah.
Yeah, because I do have times where I go to the free store for some new pants and it's like,
Yeah. Who here has had a bleed through? Okay. All right. I feel like that's a question that we keep asking. Everyone's had a bleed through. It's very normal. It happens. And in high school it's so important to have the resources readily available. Kat, how do you feel like being involved in Period Power helped you transition from high school into college?
Well, it helped me figure out what I wanted to do with my life. First of all, I found my passion for advocacy and for justice, and it helped me build the skills of advocating for myself, which I have used multiple times in the process of going to college and being in college. It helped me as the former vice president of this club for like 2 years, helped me take more agency in my life and better manage myself and my skills and just truly find myself. It helped me manage like the workload of college more, especially with a full course load, double major, honors program, all of that.
So what are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in international relations and music performance.
Wow, awesome. Tell us a little bit more about the international relations and what you may be excited to do within your career.
Well, I picked international relations because my family's from two completely opposite ends of the world, and I grew up around different cultures, languages, it's a big melting pot in my own household, and I am a reflection of that. And so I wanted to find a field that allowed me to help make positive change in the world while also embracing my multiculturalness and using my skills because
Yeah.
I grew up surrounded, by stories from history of my own family and of the countries that my family's from. And when I discovered inside myself that I wanted to go to law school and become an attorney, I figured what better field than international law
Yeah.
because I want to make a difference in the world. And a lot of the times, our international organizations are the way that peace is kept, that standards are held in member nations. And if I can help be a part of that and maintain a more peaceful balance of power across the world, then I will do whatever I can.
That's awesome. So proud to hear that about you too, and knowing that part of your experience with period power is what kind of set you on that trajectory and creating a space for you to not just advocate for yourself, but for other people all over the world. With your international relations degree, are you hoping to do anything with regards to period poverty?
Well, absolutely. I mean, if I end up working in some sort of major international organization or even in some sort of government, I will have the platform to be able to advocate more for menstrual equality and awareness around menstruation. And depending on where I go, I can always help to introduce or support legislation that will help, remove taxes on menstrual products or provide free menstrual products in different settings and basically do whatever I can to normalize the concept of menstruation to everybody.
Yeah, thank you for that. Okay, so Xyajah shared a lot about her shame that she felt when she got her period. Do you have any moments in your own experience with menstruation that you felt similar sense of shame or discomfort?
At home, I've always felt comfortable about my period. My household is full of medical professionals or former medical professionals, so it was pretty normalized. However, in like school or surrounded by people that don't know, especially before I got involved in period power, there have been times where like I was ashamed to mention, "Oh, I'm on my period," or like I wouldn't even talk about it because although my family is considered more progressive from where they're from, it's still, they got some old world values. And
Mhm.
so that sort of thing is just not discussed. So there was definitely moments where I felt the stigma, even in my own home. There are
Yeah.
times where you should not bring it up.
live in a very conservative house, so it's very Christian and like I have brothers who have like very opposite values as me. So every time I'm on my period, they'll be like grossed out and they tell me don't even touch them because I'm considered unclean to them. And it kind of brings this shame into me like, oh my God, I'm on my period. That's why I felt the shame at school because my brothers judged me in my own home about my period, you know?
It sounds like we need to infiltrate a little bit, into their minds, little by little, and plant new seeds and gain their support. Well, last question. There's a clear theme in Xyajah's story of wanting to make sure no one else feels the way she did, confused, alone, and ashamed. For both of you, what do you think needs to change in schools or our communities to make menstruation a less shameful and more openly discussed topic?
I would definitely say bettering the sex education.
Okay, what kind of sex education are we getting in school? Like, what does that look like?
It's just in sex education, it was just covering like the STIs you can get and like how sex works. If you do this and if you do that, you're gonna get STI. And it's like I feel like scaring people into not having sex is not gonna work.
Make them stop having
Yeah,
sex.
Yeah.
exactly.
No,
Okay.
the entire thing is just like abstinence, abstinence, abstinence. Yeah, ideally, sure, not gonna happen with most people. So you gotta like prepare them
And they never really talk about how menstruation works. And that's what they really need. So we can create a more comfortable space for people on their periods.
Yeah.
And not just menstruators, everybody. You know, non-menstruators should learn about male anatomy and vice versa. It's an issue that affects everybody. And I went to a private school where most people had the talk. We didn't have anything like resembling that in middle school. We talked about like how to be friends, and we read the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. That was our health class. It was ridiculous.
I do love that book. We have it on our bookshelf.
Oh yeah, no, not a bad book, but if that's the entirety of your health class in middle school, that's an issue.
There's definitely no period talk in that.
Absolutely.
Which kind of brings me to maybe a follow-up. I'm gonna share what kind of menstruation or period training I had, and then maybe we could talk about this real quick, because it is so rooted in like the fear and shame. In 5th grade, we were separated. All the girls were put on this side of the gym. We had this like vinyl curtain that went down and taped in the middle, and the boys were on the other side on the little scooters, having a grand old time. And we could like hear them having fun and playing in the gym while we watched a little TV. And on the TV, we learned about menstruation, but I can't even tell you what it looked like or sounded like. I don't remember anything because my ADHD was like, they're playing on the other side and I could hear it, and I wanted to be a part of that, and I just totally zoned out. So that was my education at school. And then my mom took me out with my best friend and her mom, and we went to a hospital where we got a whole video, and we got like a little package with like different pads and tampons. And I really remember what that was like, but I still don't remember the video. I just remember the feelings of like, I'm gonna get my period soon, and now I got a little package, and my friend is with me, and our moms are here, and it was like a whole thing, right? So I remember that memory, and the experience and the feelings. What did you remember, and how did you feel from your period conversation?
My grandmother was an OBGYN in the former Soviet Union, so I learned a lot of stuff really quickly and in great detail. My mom also told me, she's also a doctor, so just information, very technical, what it is, what function it serves. And then like in high school in health class, the closest we got was building a replica of the female anatomy out of foam blocks that interlock. And then there was like a dancing 3D rendered penis on the screen. Actually, I don't even think they mentioned menstruation. Maybe very briefly. I don't remember seeing them show us a pad or anything. The closest we got to any sort of like gender divided education was during cancer awareness, where they made us feel a silicone breast for lumps, and the men got to hold silicone testicles, and it was a really awkward experience.
Okay.
But still
Yeah.
good education,
Yeah.
but nothing regarding
Nothing about
menstruation.
menstruation.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never really had the school talk. The way my mom actually found out was actually pretty funny, because I remember like going to the bathroom and while I was watching TV, and then I thought I cut myself, and I was like, oh, let me just get a Band-Aid. And then not even a few minutes later, like I feel something leaking. And I was like, oh my God. I was this close to calling 911, and then I realized, let me just hide this. It won't be that bad. Not even a week later, my mom found it. She yelled my name, like, Divine Grace. I was like, oh my God.
Oh no, she used your middle name.
I was like, oh no. So I walked into her room all scared, and she was like, lock the door. You know what your period is? No. And then I just started breaking down crying, because like all that panic was there, and like I was just crying my eyes out. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Am I gonna die? She was like, shut up, you're not dying. But and she was like giving me the description of a period so vaguely, I don't even remember it. All I remember is like her giving me a piece of chocolate saying, "You'll need this. You'll need this.
You'll need this.
You'll need this every time you get on it."
I do suggest chocolate while on your period, but that's just my comfort food or any other comfort food. You know, some people like salty, some people like sweet.
It's really a mix for me. It's either French fries or tater tots or chocolate. There's no in between.
No in between. Okay.
No in
What about you? Favorite food?
Oh, on my period, I do tend to crave savory. So usually just cheese, stuff with cheese in it. That's my go-to.
Cheese stuffed with cheese with a nice savory rosemary cracker. Maybe.
Yeah, that or like my Diaz cheese empanadas.
Oh, I love cheese empanadas. Oh, the ones you made were so great. Like, I was like, give me one.
All right, these are some really great answers. Ladies, thanks for joining us. Our time is coming to an end, but before we end, I wanted to jump into a really fun exercise with both of you. It's called Reframe the Shame. We've talked a lot today about how society shames people for menstruating and how we can combat that shame by changing the conversation. So let's do just that. Some common phrases that often carry negative shame-based energy, we're going to take and reframe them into something positive and supportive. Are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. Here's the first one. Don't talk about your period. What's a way that we can reframe this into something that promotes openness and comfort?
Well, if you could say, periods are important to talk about, doing so removes the stigma around it. Maybe be mindful that some people may not take kindly to it, but, some things need to be said.
Yeah. I would say, like, this is definitely a topic I want to talk about right now.
Perfect. Here's another one. Periods are gross.
You're gross.
That's a great one.
Steak done. You're gross. How can something be gross if it happens completely naturally and is expected of our sex? It's not something to be hidden. It's like a part of puberty. And it's like saying other things that come with puberty are gross. Like, it's important to, take care of yourself and make sure that everything is normal and functioning as it should be. And that's one of the ways that our body lets us know that.
I really like the idea too of hearing like, oh, periods are gross. They're what make us human, right? Like that.
So you wouldn't exist without a period.
Without a period, we wouldn't exist. How about when we hear from our lovely male counterparts, periods are just a woman's problem.
It's the thing with like people, it's like you have to relate it to them to make them understand. And that's, a lot of them don't realize until it's happening. So your girlfriend will have a period, or your sisters, your mother. If you have a daughter, your daughter will have a period.
Yeah, that's the point. Like, if you ever have a daughter, then that's gonna be your problem when you...
I have this shirt and it says menstrual health is a human rights issue. So if someone was, periods are just women's problems. No, periods are human rights problems.
Half the population gets periods, It's not one gender's issue more than the other.
Yeah.
And our final shame reframe. No one wants to hear about your period.
Others do want to hear about it, though. Like, young girls do really need to hear about this because they really do need to be prepared for what they're about to, like, go through. And, like, if they have any questions, then they can gladly ask anybody. It kind of, like, lowers the fear of having a period for a young woman.
So can you summarize that in a way? So if I'm saying no one wants to hear about your period, can you summarize all what you said into like one statement?
You don't want to hear about it, but I feel like someone in this room does.
People need to hear about my period.
People need to hear about my period.
Yeah, whether you want to hear it or not is irrelevant because the truth is it's real, it happens, and the only way to normalize it is to talk about it.
Great work, ladies. Thank you so much for reframing the shame with me today and being able to take things that are negative about our periods and turning them into positive statements and conversation. Hopefully, with some of the things that we discussed today, we can save other little menstruators, My Little Pony underwears. So, big thanks today to Divine, Kat, and Xyajah for sharing your stories. That's all we have time for today. Thank you so much. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the TMI Project Story Hour presents the Period Power Stories podcast.
If you like what we're doing, please subscribe, rate, and leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps.
TMI Project is available to offer true storytelling workshops and performances for your school and workplace.
To learn more or to support our work, you can find the details at tmiproject.org.
This episode was produced in partnership with HUDSY and Kingston High School's Period Power Club.
It was written and produced by Hayley Downs, Raine Grayson, and Blake Pfeil. All episodes are shot and edited by HUDSY.
Special thanks to our partners for their generous support of this work: the Hudson Valley Foundation for Youth, the Rowley Foundation Fund for Women and Children, and the Stavros Niarchos Foundation. We couldn't do it without you.